7 East. The 7 East opened with a Godard film, and 20 years later it closed with Deep Throat. I was there both nights. And they kept busting, the censor board busted Deep Throat every day, and it kept opening. So it has a great history. I'd like to give a little salute to some people, my friends, that I really think did come down here first. The late David Levy, who started the Charles Theater when it became an art theater again. Pat Moran, who was then not even a casting agent, she was the manager of the theater. Esther Martin across the street, who had the Wigwam, the scariest bar in Baltimore. And we used to hang out there, and Pat Cahoe and Joy Martin and the Martin family turned it into the Club Charles, which is still my favorite bar in the world. So I think it's incredibly important that all this time has passed, and look at it now. You know, I told Governor O'Malley then was the mayor, and I told him, we've got to keep the good people here. And you think it's silly, but they need a good bar, and they need a good movie theater, and they won't leave. And I do believe he listened to me. And now the problem is, now people aren't leaving Baltimore. For people from New York are moving here, which I think is great, actually. You know? But I don't want to make it too nice, so my idea really is, no one remembers this, but at one point the city was going to change the name of North Avenue to James Brown Boulevard, for real, because he owned a radio station here, but then he got arrested and went to prison, and they changed their mind. Let's name it that again. With that, I'd like to introduce, and this is the third event I've done with him in 2 weeks. This is the first straight one, though, so I don't want to get the wrong idea. We were raising money for the pro-gay marriage thing. So I'd like to introduce Governor O'Malley.
I'm good, man. I used to play in a band. I know how to do the microphone thing. Thank you very, very much. Let's give it up for John Waters, a great ambassador. Hey, John, thank you so very, very much for everything that you do to promote Baltimore as an ideal city for rising artists.
Yeah!
It's really wonderful to be with all of you here tonight, and I want to thank the good Lord for accommodating us on the weather here, and I want to thank Michael Schechter, and I want to thank Fred Lazarus, I want to thank Doreen Bolger and everybody that made this possible tonight, but most especially I want to thank each and every one of you. I saw when Fred asked you to raise your hands, how many of you were here 10 years ago, and how many of you are here now. Obviously, a lot of you came here over the last 10 years. And before I got demoted, I was mayor of Baltimore, and like all good mayors, I was in search of great ideas that I saw that were actually working and accomplishing things in other cities. And one of the things we saw, Frank Borelli, was that in other cities, when they established an arts district, it created a synergy. It created a density. It created a focus. It created an energy of people that could transform an entire neighborhood and thereby transform an entire city. And that's really what Station North has been about. You know, there's an apocryphal story about a little girl who says to her grandfather, "When's the best time to plant a tree? Because I heard in our science class that trees are good for the air, and trees soak up the water and storm water, and they're good for the environment. Grandfather, when's the best time to plant a tree?" And he said, "The best time is 20 years ago." She said, "Well, hell's bells, when's the second best time to plant a tree?" And he said, "Right now. Right now." Well, look, 10 years ago, we planted the tree of the Station North Arts District. Many of the smart people said, "That will never work. You'll never get an Irish bar on North Avenue." And look, what we said was, every day is a new day. And the greatest freedom we have as individuals is to create new days. And what you're doing with your talents, with your life, with your hopes, with your loves, by doing it here in this place, is not only transforming Station North, you're really transforming an entire city. And she is a great city. So look, we're here to mark the 10-year anniversary. When we come back here, God willing, all of us together, 10 years from now, we're going to need another parking deck. Thank you all very, very much for what you do.